Greetings, everyone in the galaxy. This is Kayvon Jones, ethereal of the Omuz Sept. Welcome to my voxcast. Here on the Kevon Jones Show, we seek to bring out the greater good in sentient beings across the galaxy, because the galaxy can be a really scary place. But here on the Kevon Jones Show, we believe that with a positive attitude and really good self-esteem, some good visualizations, there isn't anything you can't accomplish. So if you wish to call in to the Kevon Jones Show, all I ask is that you make a small donation and we will take your call live on the air. Now, Guevesa Mortimer is handling the phone line. So if there are any topics that people want to discuss and for whatever reason they're unable to donate, Mortimer will let me know if some really good communication and discussions coming up, and we can share our thoughts and feelings together and work towards a warmer, uh, friendlier galaxy. So, um, I want to start off. We'll wait till everyone kind of gets in. We don't have very many people listening to the Kayvon Jones show, um, and it's not all that different from the Tau Empire. We're just a little old empire up there on the Ultima Segmentum. Don't mind us. We're just bright light to the galaxy, bringing some hope and happiness to everyone out there. But you know what? You're we got a few people here, and that's really what's going to count. And the fact that you're all here really warms my heart. Mortimer, my Guevesa, who's taking the calls, he says no one's here yet. Mortimer wants to know, are you Tau? Yes. I am Tau. My name is Kevon Jones. I'm an ethereal and work for the Omuz Sept. It's my Sept. I watch over everyone. I guide everyone. I help them become the best thems they can be. And one of the things I really want to get across to everyone here in the galaxy is everyone here wants to operate. They want to do their own things. They want to go out there. They want to build things. They want to conquer stuff. They want to do all these different things. But if we're all trying to operate at the same time, we're gonna bump into each other. And my ideas and my plans are gonna run into your plans. So instead of trying to operate, what we really need to do out here in the galaxy is cooperate. Okay? Okay? So in order to do that, we really need to understand one another, and that's really what my show here is about you sharing your feelings, your hardships, your trials and tribulations, and we'll really work to kind of get in the nitty gritty here and help you guys work things out. Okay, and for we don't have that many, so many of you might not have heard my introduction, but this is the Kevon Jones Show, and if you want to call in with your own problems, your own difficulties, really the things that are really getting underneath your skin right now, just really bugging you, then you can make a small donation uh, to the show. Help us keep on the Vox waves, and we'll take your call live. Now, if you can't do that, if you're in some trouble, if you don't have the energy currency or whatever to really donate, we still have Mortimer, Mike Wavesa. He's manning the phones. He's manning the Vox waves, scanning them for people in need, and if there's like a topic that people are really discussing, then we can move on and discuss that as well. It's been really quiet so far. Um, not a whole lot of talking. Just off the block entertainment. Fellow called in. That's the only one we've got so far. But it's okay. It's okay. I open up my feelings and share them with you. Why don't we do that? Why don't we talk about we'll talk about uh, Kevon Jones and where I'm really at and what I'm really about here. Um, so the way I really try to approach things is I think that most of our suffering really comes from our own perceptions of things. They're really the way we think about stuff. The way we think about the things that happen to us. So, for example, if we really like the fruit of the chelva tree, and I love the fruit of the chelva tree, but they don't have any at the nutrient dispensary. Nobody in the watercast has any. No, just nope, nothing at all. You can let that be the focus of your day and really get upset about it and just focus on how you weren't able to eat your favorite fruit, or you can display a positive attitude and maybe get something else that you might enjoy. Maybe try something new. We really need to turn some frowns upside down and turn our doubts and pouts into happy and uh, slappy. I'll work on that one. We'll workshop that one before it makes it into the next book. I got a few. Mortimer's saying a few more people are calling in. We got a few more. We got a small number of listeners. Just all right. Then we're just all gonna kind of hunker down together and we'll just have our little meeting together. Um, let's take a look. We got a fair number of problems. We have a fellow who screams at himself to do something, but he never does it. All right, all right, all right. Why don't we get into this? Because uh, this individual seems like they're really having some really deep pain. That sometimes we know the sort of things that we need to do, but we don't want to do it. We don't want to do what is for our greater good. And that can happen for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it happens because we have become accustomed to a pattern of behavior. So you know that you need to smile a little bit more. Just be change your attitude at your workplace. But you've been a grumper for so long. It's hard to change. It's hard to create new habits. Um, and it's sort of what you really want to do is uh, you've already done the first important part, which is you've recognized that you have a problem, you have something you want to change, and you have a plan for how to do it. Um, or at least you know what to do. Maybe you don't have a plan yet. Maybe that's the next step, is really figure out maybe little steps, because sometimes we set ourselves up for failure. It says I've put on a little weight. Put on a little weight. I shouldn't put on weight. I had one too many of the chelva fruits. So what we want to try to do is let's set smaller goals that are easier to reach. Because what happens is it's like I'm gonna not ever eat a chelva fruit again. I'm gonna lose all this weight in a really short amount of time, and I can't do it. I can't go cold turkey. I can't just stop. So I end up getting frustrated with myself, and then I just give up. So maybe dial things back a little bit at a time, and then slowly over time you can change your habits to something a bit more positive. All right. Hopefully that's a little bit. We got a little bit more people, so hopefully that's something to start off with. You're going to have to look at your own individual circumstance and really see what's standing in your way, and then come up with a strategy to overcome that. And some of that might be to find someone that you can talk to kind of bounce some ideas off of, and really kind of build up a good way of overcoming these things. All right, so we have someone who was born on an imperial hive world where cooperation, oh my goodness, usually means getting killed at a young age. Hmm. Well, see what, so all right, so this is off the block, who is our first guest who came in. So thank you. Um, what I'm seeing here is that so cooperation usually means you're getting killed, and that can mean a number of different things. Um, and well, let me got a question popped up. I'm gonna come back to that. Don't forget. But got a question. What's happening here? From a chapter master, no less. My name is Kevon Jones of the Omuz Sept of the Tau Empire, and I am using this voxcast to reach out to other sentient creatures in the galaxy to really turn my greater good into our greater good, to really help us be the best sentient beings that we can be, and really work towards a brighter, happier galaxy. And if anyone comes in and they get confused, they don't know what's going on, they don't know who's talking, you guys can let them know, and that'll kind of clear things up. But getting back to the very important business of being born on a hive world, and then cooperation means getting killed. Now that can mean a couple different things. That sometimes if you let your guard down, if you're going to try to work with someone, they can try to take advantage of you, which might be the case here. Or it is what I've seen in a lot of Guevesa hive cities is the people who are in charge demand a lot of work from those who are on the bottom, and then if you're just compliant in that, you work yourself to death. So what I would recommend is, if you're looking to cooperate, you want to cooperate with people that want to cooperate with you. That's where it all comes down to. Um, there was actually a Guevesa interesting analogy for this, which was the prisoner's dilemma, where is the idea is two Guevesa are caught doing something illegal, they get brought in and they both get questioned. Now, if both the Guevesa cooperated and didn't talk to the authorities, they'd get away with it. They wouldn't, or they'd be punished minimally. They wouldn't have enough evidence to get both of them very long. So minimum sentence. But if one of them ratted out the other one, really gave up the ghost, said we did it, and blamed the other person, and the other person stayed quiet, the one would be able to make a plea bargain, and they'd get out completely scot-free, and then all of the punishment would fall on the shoulders of their accomplice. And what happens is both parties don't want to be the one stuck holding the bag. So what frequently happens is both of them rat on each other, and then they're both in a worse situation. What we want to do as part of the greater good is really solve this prisoner's dilemma, where we're going to cooperate and not really try to just gain the advantage of each other. And if you're working in a hive city, you really and if you're looking to cooperate, you really need to build that trust with the people that you're cooperating with, and that kind of takes some work, and it takes being vulnerable and willing to try to cooperate. um, but I think that really can, the willingness to cooperate, can open you up to be taken advantage of, but we can't let that ruin everything, because that's the option. If everyone's trying to get the advantage on everyone, nothing gets done. We don't cooperate, we don't advance. Um, well, it seems like we had some. It seems like we have some people who've been helped so far. Now, so all right, we got another issue. So someone's complaining that Croot hounds are howling really loudly, and what do I do? They're interrupting sleep. Can't serve the greater good properly like that. Now, this is going to be a part where you really need to be open about communicating with the Croot about those hounds, and you do need to be very careful to handle things very delicately with the Kroot, because they do tend to eat people when they're upset. So this is a time where we need to respect each other's feelings and respectfully approach the Kroot who are managing these hounds and seeing maybe if there's someplace else that they could put the hounds, or maybe they could be farther away, or maybe they can try to get the Kroot hounds on a better sleep schedule so that way they're asleep when you're asleep. All right. So now got a couple different things that I want to talk about as well as we're going to let people kind of um, oh my oh, all right. We're gonna deal with some negative Nelvas here, negative Nelvas, but we Mortimer, what my Guevesa is has got a really heated caller on the phone. You got a BGC Vatan, and I do have my Guevesa screen these calls, but this is a place of openness. This is a place of understanding, and we're going to see what BGC Vatan has to say. Please die from Loyalist First Legion and Cyrus Amani. Okay, I I hear where you're coming from, BGC Vatan. The Imperium has not had the best history with what is the term, Xenos. So this kind of hostility and genocidal rage. I don't want to be sound accusatory here, but I think that genocidal rage is an appropriate term for what we have going on here. And I will suggest that maybe your xenocidal rage is misplaced. Now that could be because your emperor is an unloving corpse sitting on a throne of hate, feeding on your people for the past 10,000 years, maintaining a husk of an empire that is very much shrinking, while the Tau Empire is built on hope and well-being and is expanding. And sorry about that Damocles Crusade not working out for you. But I think that we can really start to close that gap. Okay, thank you, BGC Vatan. Your donation is very much appreciated. Uh, and we here at the Tau Empire really appreciate that you were honest coming out here. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, looks we've got a few more people coming in, and that's really good. That's really positive, and I think we're going to really kind of get into what the greater good really is, because there's a lot of crazy things going on, a lot of crazy rumors about what the greater good is. And the greater good is simply the belief that all sentient beings in the galaxy should work together for their mutual benefit. We got to stop operating, and we need to start cooperating. So instead of fighting or squabbling over differences, we should embrace these differences under the umbrella of the greater good. So if you join the greater good, and you wish to continue honoring and worshiping your emperor, you're free to do so. We really want to sell people that the open and accepting nature of the greater good is its strength. Okay. All right. How's it? Let's see. We have a comment. We got what do we have? Mortimer? We got someone else. All right. Mortimer saying we have an individual who was asking about uh, the Gravelax campaign and how Commissar Kane saved the Imperial world and several Tau diplomats on the world from Tyranids. And really, that's the kind of cooperation that we really are talking about here when we're talking about the greater good. Um, and the lives of those Tau diplomats were definitely appreciated. And it really is when you're dealing with a force like the Tyranids, which are there's no at least we haven't found a way to reason and cooperate with the Tyranids. Hasn't stopped some of us from trying to negotiate. Hey, maybe we plant we seed a planet with biomass. Your fleet comes and eats, and then we plant some more, and reseed the planet, and you come back and kind of let's grow things, let's cooperate, and then we don't really get so much of an answer as we do sort of a nightmarish. Now this is apparently much worse for the Guevesa. But there's sort of we get like a little bit of a unease, but there's a nightmarish psychic backlash as our minds directly touch the hive mind. But we're trying, and it's important that we try. All right, Mortimer is saying that we have Able Knight on the line, and let's see what he has to say. Hey, Kevon Jones. Hey, I'm interested in the greater good, but my planet is a Space Marine homeworld. How do I serve the greater good without getting purged by Marines? They don't seem to see reason. Well, Able Knight, I really can see how that can be a bit of a problem, and it might if you contact, I think we might um, see if we can really get into some good communication um, about with your homeworld chapter, uh, because what we would love to do, what would be absolutely fantastic if we had um, some of these space marines really join the greater good, because a lot of humans, a lot of Guevesa, really look up to the bravery and the strength and sometimes the nobility, and in rare cases the mercy, for the different chapters that really we have heard that really value the lives of their citizens. Um, if we could communicate to a Space Marine chapter the value of the greater good, that would be excellent. That would really stop us operating and really get us going to cooperating. So that's a first option. Is let's get in contact with this chapter, open up some lines, open up some communication, and really see that if we can make this work. Now, if that's not a possibility, if things are just shut down, and that's just not going to happen with, let's say within your lifetime, Able Knight, what we what my advice would be is you see if you can figure out a way to get off world. Um, if you can get off world and kind of out from under uh, kind of the strictures that we know are very prevalent in the Imperium, then you've got a lot of dangers, you got a lot of things to worry about. a lot of people really can't leave um, the relative safety of the Imperium. But if you can get to us, if you can reach for us, then we really got something. We'd really love to cooperate with you. All right, so we have Off the Block Entertainment who had sent a message earlier, but we now have a call in. So let's take a listen and see what we have here. Hey, sorry for the first timer here. I'm just calling to say that you're a real calming show, and thank you for helping me with my anxiety. And I did mean to be rude before. I'm in the middle of a firefight right now. Well, it was very kind of you and considerate. You know what? I could barely hear the firefight, so was very considerate of you to kind of shield your Vox unit there. Um, but this is the kind of success that I really think the greater good has to offer the galaxy. Um, to really have some confidence, some safety, and also really building towards something. Really building towards something. We're gonna why not we'll really try to accomplish something greater, that greater good. All right, so we got a little bit of a discussion going on about the nature of the greater good, and there are I have heard this a couple times from the Guevesa that compare uh, the Tau greater good to previous ancient Guevesa um, methods of governance that um, sort of use the language of positivity, of peace, of tranquility, satisfying all their needs, and that has become really an excuse, a shield to hide tyrannical rule. Um, and I, the Imperium is kind of an odd duck because it's not really commanded from a central location. It sort of is. You have your emperor. He has his rules, but by and large part, each system or each planet or each uh, section of star systems is kind of ruled very differently. Some are autocratic dictatorships, some are democracies in rare instances, some are kind of very some are built on kind of indentureships, like Japal. There's all different kinds of governance in the Imperium, and a lot of it's pretty bad. Um, and to those who are worried about the greater good using language that sounds good to kind of um, hide a negative agenda, uh, you would I would invite you to speak with Guevesa, who are happily part of the greater good, who continue to practice their faith in the emperor, who see things the way we do. That again, let's stop operating. Let's start cooperating. That's what we're here for. All right, let's see what else we have here. We do apparently we have a chapter master, and who's maybe not. I don't think I've ever met a space marine that was very open to overtures, but I do appreciate that they're here. Um, and we have. Let's see what we have. Oh my, Mortimer saying that we have a caller who has asked about Tau skulls and how nice they are. Asking for a friend who might know some space marines who want to talk to the Tau. I see. I see. Um, See, this is an example where language choice and interpretation, we can see that this is a threat to oh, I get the Guevesa different chapters and legions of Space Marines mixed up, which who are the ones that are all about the skulls? No, I'm not very good. We've dealt with chaos a little, um, but they don't seem to be as interested in the Tau. But as we've incorporated more and more the Guevesa, we've had we've had some trouble with that. Um, but I would appreciate it if you didn't send it's corn. Corn is the one. If you didn't send cornates who might not have the most pro social attitude towards the empire, if they weren't sent in our direction. So I very much would appreciate that. Got a question about what caste I'm a part of. I am an ethereal of the Ormuz sept, and as part of the guiding light of the Tau Empire, I am acting. This is kind of a service to the galaxy to really help sentient beings who really need it, who are crying out and just trying to give a little bit of relief from their suffering through the greater good, through um, through really uh, the to kind of demonstrate what the greater good's really all about and how that can really help all of us. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Do we have any other questions coming on? Uh, Dear Kevon, orcs have been known to be too brutish to be reasoned with. However, grots seem less likely to chop your face off. How do the Tau deal with stray grots? Um, when it comes to the Bigel, the orcs, as Garvesa or humans would call them, um, we have come to understand that they are specifically they are biological weapons. Every single aspect of them is really part of enabling a ability to wage war um, against anyone who will fight. So unfortunately, there's not really much that can be done. I have heard of instances of the Guevesa kind of short-sightedly using orc mercenaries for different tasks. Um, and honestly, if we can get the Bigel distracted and sent someplace else, that's a positive thing. But uh, there's not really much dealing with them. And as far as the lesser uh, Bigel races, the Snotlings and Squigs and Grots or Gretchen, um, we they're just trouble. There's no value in trying to hold on to them, or imprison them, or try to sway them to the greater good, because they're hardwired to obey orcs when they show up, and they spore, and will eventually start an orc colony wherever they are, and the Bigel will fight. That's simply the way they are. Just the way there's no negotiating with the Tyranids, those who have fallen to the ruinous powers. Uh, there certainly seem to be some that are more or less gone, uh, but by and large part, there's no negotiating with them. They've sort of lost, I suppose, what the Guevesa would call they've lost their humanity. So they're not really, they're owned by the ruinous powers who really seek to do the opposite of the greater good of disrupting everything. So there's kind of, as we're going forth, we want to be open to that cooperation, but we can't be naive when it comes to dealing with groups that simply can't be dealt with. Um, and it can be tricky sometimes because it's sometimes hard to tell if you're, what kind of Eldar you're dealing with. Are you dealing with an Eldar that can talk to you, or are you um, dealing with one that uh, takes your emissaries and horribly mutilates them and turns them into hulking monstrosities? Yeah, yeah. That's kind of the risk we run in this wild and crazy galaxy. Okay, all right. Another question. How many tomb worlds are we sitting on? If it's more than five, I hope you have a good reason to not conquer your species. Ooh, ooh, that's a bit of a well. As far I think you're talking about Necrons. As far as the Necrons are, I hardly think it is fair for the Tau Empire to be held responsible for knowing where all of the tomb worlds are. We're not that old of a species, and we did not exist when you all kind of took your big nap. um, but what we really love to do, and I understand that the Necrons are not the easiest sentient beings to get along with. They've been through a lot. They've been through a lot. But I really think that if we sit down, if we talk about things, because I know what the Necrons want. They want to operate. They want to operate in their space where their dynasty was, and everyone else just got to move out of the way. But I still think that if we can connect, if we can talk, if we really talk some sense here, we can move past operating and get to cooperating. Okay? Um, how does your greater good work for species designated for war like the orcs or the Eldar? Um, some of you have only seen a fraction of the imperial truth. In time, perhaps you will see just you'll be just as bitter. Um, when it comes, well, the Eldar are a little bit different. They were definitely, from what we've gathered. Yes, they were designed for war. Um, but in the later stages of their empire, they really didn't seem like they were waging a whole lot of war aside from keeping the Begel kind of culled and down to a manageable level. Um, so really, there's a big range of what you can expect from the Eldar of how you can negotiate with them um and how we can cooperate. And I think that uh, what the Eldar have been through a lot, and they're stuck in the mindset of not being able to trust or work with others unless it is a manipulation to kind of advance their own agenda. And if we can kind of break that down, kind of break down those barriers of mistrust, I think we can really move to working together. All right. So does the Guevesa have Ogrins in it? Asking out of curiosity, as I've never met an Ogrin themselves. Now, Ogrins are they're simple creatures that have a place within the greater good, and they have talents, they have abilities, and really we want to put Ogrins in a position where they can achieve their own greatest good. That's really what we want to try to do. And we've got a lot of questions kind of at about the galaxy at large, um, and that's good. It's good that we're kind of getting this understanding. But as an ethereal, what I really want to do is I want to talk to you and really get into your greater good. Because I know a lot of you have a lot of problems, a lot of troubles, and um, and we're really here to start addressing some of the pain, some of the negative attitudes that we might have, some lack of self-esteem. I know there's a lot of people out there that are not feeling the best about themselves. We really want to lift people up. We don't want to kind of be negative Nelvas here. But it seems that from what I understand, we do have a chapter master here, and under orders from Primarch Gilliman. That's good. I understand that he has at least come to some sort of truce with at least a portion of the Eldari, which is encouraging for us. We've heard a little bit about the Yanari. We haven't been in contact with them yet, but that's a good start to bringing about some positive change in the galaxy. So welcome, Chapter Master Delnir. Welcome. So let's take a look, see if we have anyone coming in here with some trouble. I'm not sure about the greater good, though it sounds good. Tau want to close up the Eye of Terror, I presume. I think it's gotten a little bit bigger than the eye. I think we got a what is it the Guevesa say? Call it the Chicatrix Maledictum, the big scary warp rift that cuts the galaxy in half. We're we're going to we definitely have to do something here. We can't let this big rift exist where the Begal and where the forces, the ruinous powers, and where marauders of all kinds are just taking advantage of the chaos that's going on. And we want to look at the concerns because again, this is kind of the hard part of it. We want to try to again get where we're not operating anymore and where we're cooperating. All right, we've got off the block entertainment coming back. Mortimer, you go ahead and put him on the line. Go ahead and put him on the line. Hello, actually first time listening here. Got the Vox unit away from the Ogren who was shooting at us. I happen to be a cultist of the Great Worm. The duality of being how our pasts make up our futures. Okay. Um, the Great Worm. I'm not going to pretend to understand it. I am not the twistings and confusions of the warp and the ruinous powers are not something we know a whole lot about. According to the Guevesa, we do not have as much of a psychic imprint. We don't have a whole lot of presence in what you call the warp. But we're trying to study. We're trying to learn more about this. And we're finding that most of it's not too good. Not most of it's not very pro-social. Most of what's in the warp is very hostile, is very negative, really tears people down, doesn't really build them up. Is kind of that I'm going to take something from I'm looking to take something from somebody else. I'm going to fight you for it instead of coming to a kind of an agreement. But I can't really speak to the duality of how our pasts make up our future. So, so appreciate it for the call. This reaching out is very helpful, but we really need to be careful about. Can understand why the Guevesa are worried about the insidious corrupting forces of chaos and how they really can undermine things and prey on beings that have a stronger psychic presence than the Tau. So we want to take some time to kind of welcome everyone. We've gotten a fair number of people here, and I want to welcome all these journeyers because we're all on a journey of self-discovery and self-actualization in this galaxy, even if we hit a couple of bumps. Now, some of us might be looking to find a mate or construct a home, but life has kind of a wacky way of not always following our plan. Some days we just want to plan a birthday party. And here comes a Drukari raiding party to spoil everything. So, well, here on the Kevon Jones, we want to take these setbacks, take the setback and turn them into get forwards. That's what setback to get forward. That's what we really want to do. That's really want to do. It's not we're talking about opportunities. We're not talking about stop opportunities. So let's not look at the things that are stopping us. Let's look at the things that bring us together. Okay? So we can all kind of be united under the greater good in a place of acceptance, a way of peace, a way of order and security. It seems that we have a bit of a discussion going on. Pickles and Voxbox and a little bit of back and forth going on here. So how are relations between human psychers and the Tau in general? Tau have very, very little presence in the warp. What do you do with them? Well, psychers are we're learning a lot about this warp, and things be a lot easier if you Guevesa weren't so hooked up uh, to this sea of negative emotions, of negative impulses that are constantly tempting you, and that's a lot worse for Guevesa who are psychers because they're if they're not trained, they're very vulnerable to chaos intrusion, to chaos attack, and we are not equipped. We're not. We don't have a tradition of being psychers. We don't know how to train untrained human psychers. So what might have to happen is we might need to do some of that cooperation with maybe elements of the Imperium, maybe Guevesa settlements that have traditions of how to control and utilize psychic powers, because uh, there are definitely things that we have seen that we ethereals have seen on the battlefields, um, that simply the power of the human will, the power of sort of the psychic energy can achieve a lot of things, and can be very destructive and dangerous. So I think moving forward, we're not right now very well equipped to deal with psychers. They kind of uh, if they kind of show up, we're sort of stuck in not a great place, because we don't know how to deal with them, and we don't have the tradition for it, and it can also be a problem just to send them back to the Imperium. But that's been kind of what I've been doing in my sept, is finding um, somewhat friendly. I've been relying on the Guevesa in our territories, and trusting in their wisdom in regards to how to handle these psychers that we're not as prepared to deal with. And it's not pretty, but that's kind of the price of turning operation into cooperation. So what do the Tau think of the shale gods such as Cain or Tegarach? It really depends on what the practice is, because within the greater good, we do allow people to worship as they see fit, um, as long as that worship isn't um, does doesn't involve some pretty violent and disruptive rites. If practicing your religion means summoning a bloodthirster in the middle of my sep, that can be a little bit of a problem. So we're going to try to discourage that kind of thing. And I know Cain isn't the most pro-social of deities. Chigarach, don't know as much about them. We're learning. We're always learning. We're open-minded. We're trying to learn about this galaxy that can be very confusing sometimes. Um, but that one's kind of a mystery. That one's kind of a mystery, and I don't know. Um, the followers of Chigarach don't seem to really settle down in a location and become part of the greater good. They kind of seem to wander freely. Um, so Chegarat's kind of a non-issue, as long as we're not running into each other. Cain can be a problem. He's not very happy, um, and he's when he's awoken, he can be a bit of a problem. He causes some pretty serious trouble. Um, but we want to look at the positive aspects and see if we can't find ways to look past each other's differences. So, murder clowns, Xenos, murder clowns. You're talking about what they are called, the Harlequins, I believe, called the Harlequins. And the yes, I am aware that the Harlequins can be very dangerous, and if can be utilized as assassins or quite a number of things that can be very dangerous to the greater good. So I'm not trying to dismiss them, but I don't think, unless there's a reason, they would actively target uh, the Tau Empire or the greater good in general. I think they just tend to have different goals, different. Uh, we do sometimes come into conflict, but not always, and well, hopefully we can improve that as things go forward. You're very fluent in High Gothic for a Xeno. Where did you study? I've been learning from a lot of my Guevesa friends. Mortimer's been very helpful in helping to learn the different words that the Guevesa learn. And we found that most beings can understand. This is kind of a nice common language for the galaxy, because the Guevesa populate so much of it. The Beguel utilize a variation on I believe Low Gothic is what it's called. So they can understand. Not that there's much to do with the Beguel. They're just kind of violent and not very useful. Um, so we're going to, but sort of losing my thought here. Um, Eldar claim they have complex emotions, but all they do is behave like mad teenagers. All they do is enslave, torture, and survive. Degenerate Xenos. Yeah, and I've seen that. I can see that. That has been a problem, but we've also found all different kinds of Eldar. There's a lot of Eldar that want to be left alone. There's the Exodites. I've learned about the Exodites. That was exciting to find out about. That they kind of have their own planets. That they manage in their own way and have found their own peace in a more simple, minimalistic lifestyle, kind of more joined with nature, which we can respect. Um, the craft world Eldar are a different sort. I think that the hardest ones to kind of get along with are the Eldar who are live in the webway and spend their time in Comrade doing, let's just say they're not doing very pro-social things. Okay. All right, so greetings, everyone. Greetings. All right, we have BGC Vatan coming back on the show. Go ahead, BGC Vatan. What do we have to say here? Know this: by birth, Eldari are agents of Slanesh. I can see where you're coming from on that. I understand that the Eldar, because of some, well, we'll just call it some a problematic period of time, when the Tau we weren't quite getting up there. We weren't quite ready to span the galaxy quite yet. So we're not going to judge, um, but it seems like the Eldari may have given birth to the Chaos God Slanesh and caused the doom of their entire species. And so that they're stuck on isolated craft worlds, traveling the void to stay alive, or they have become degenerate monsters in the webway. So we understand that that's a lot, that there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of darkness there. Um, but we really think that with a what they really need is to really change that attitude and really push for a more positive way of thinking about things, and a more empathetic way of thinking about things, a more caring, gentle way of looking at the galaxy instead of getting all wrapped up in the terrible events of the past. It was a long time ago at this point, so I think it's time for us to kind of grow and to find ways to move past these very difficult events. Okay, so thank you, BGC Vatan. We're gonna really, it's been nice to kind of reach out to all of you and really communicate um, the real joys the of the greater good, um, how that can be meaningful for you in your everyday life. Um, I understand we have Jack. Jack has been a little upset. Wants someone to contact the Inquisition right now. Stop the Xenos by the name of the great hero Cyrus Amani. And I have heard of Cyrus Amani. He was involved in what the Imperium would call the liberation of Lagan. The Ultramarines were involved, and Mr. Amani's guard unit was involved there, and that was very unfortunate that we could not come to an agreement and really see the benefit of Lagan being under the rulership of the greater good, because it really doesn't, taking back systems that have come into to the compliance of the greater good. It's not good for anyone. It's a war that unfortunately, from my understanding, took away Mr. Amani's eyesight. That he's now had to turn to artificial vision in order to aid him to be able to have his show. But if and what happens to the civilian population after they go back under imperial compliance is widespread purging and death. So you have a long campaign. Tau die and Guevesa die, and we lose Kroot, Vespids. All these different groups of people end up dying in a painful war, and for what? It's just so that the population, which is really the thing that we're fighting over here, just ends up getting culled. Um, and a lot of innocent people that might not have been part of the planet's decision to join the greater good, uh, they can fall and be persecuted as well, and that's unfortunate. Well, I am sorry that Cyrus Amani is not is feeling a lot of negative feelings towards me, and I understand that. Um, Fighting a war against another group of people does not usually engender positive feelings towards that group of people. Uh, but we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep trying to win people over, whether it's Cyrus Amani or Adrian Pius or any of their listeners. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It sounds like we have a call. Mortimer, are you quite serious? We have a call from Bigel. All right, let's see what he's saying. Is crumping them weird looking panties of Gamora part of the greater good? Huh. That is a much more uh, thoughtful question than I had expected. But let me take a moment to kind of think about this. I wasn't thinking of that I was going to receive a question. Um, I think what I'm gonna admit I am not part of I do not know that much about uh Gamora. My understanding is it was a a dead world. That it wasn't. Am I missing things up? Am I being confused? That it's a dead world that was struck by a comet. A pretty big catastrophe. Am I misunderstanding that? Because I don't remember there being um, Eldar involved in that, but I might be thinking of a different situation. But when it comes to violence, if Miguel, you really want to, honestly, if the Bigel could be, we haven't found a way to do it, but if the Bigel could be harnessed to kind of deal with galactic threats, to allow them to, in a healthy way, channel their warlike tendencies towards threats, maybe if all the Bigel were dedicated to eliminating the Tyranid threat, or were content to fight the I believe the Guevesa call them the Neverborn. That could be very positive. So if there are negative, destructive forces, Miguel, then I think it would be very pro-social and very good for you to channel your warlike energy into dealing with that. So thank you for your call, and we're gonna try. We're gonna working together. We're gonna fix this galaxy, one happy little person at a time. All right, I believe we have a space marine on the line, a lamenter, I believe. Go ahead. Attention, Xenos world. We are commandeering your space station for repairs and continued pursuit of the Necron fleet. We will kill all who oppose us. Now, this is a time where we have we're not going to call this a stop opportunity. We're looking for an opportunity um, to kind of come in and take away our space station without kind of coordinating, without warning. Also, I don't know if you're going to be able to pursue uh, the Necron fleet, given their tendency to be able to just slip into another dimension. Um, oh, and their frictionless drives are quite fast. But uh, we are certainly willing to sort of see what the situation is, because uh, we want to know what the situation is between you and the Necrons, because if there doesn't have to be a conflict in all of this, when we don't have to have a conflict. Maybe there's a way that whatever this fighting's about, um, you can come to a peaceful resolution with the Necrons. It's my understanding that wait a minute, you're a Lamenter? Um, I heard rumors, and maybe I misunderstood this, but I thought that your chapter, um, that your chapter your chapter master Dante, or at least of the Blood Angels, had some understanding, at least some degree, with the Silent King. Am I misunderstanding that? I thought as Lamenters are a kind of Blood Angel, aren't they? They're one of the successor chapters. Uh, would you not look to the leadership of Dante to guide you in this? Um, and perhaps that might be the thing to do, is see if you can get the Silent King to mediate, um, to try to resolve some of this conflict. That would be my recommendation. If that's what you're going to pursue, then I can allow you to utilize our facilities to try to fix yourselves up, and hopefully uh, figure out a way to end this that doesn't involve a lot of bloodshed. So best of luck to you. Uh, but we don't want to seem that we don't want to be antagonistic towards the Necrons either. So um, I really, if it's possible, I'd really think that Dante and the Silent King would be very, um, if the rumors are true, if what I've heard is correct, if they could help kind of broker a peace here and kind of bring about some understanding. So thank you very much, Mr. Lamenter, for assisting us in this and really bringing your perspective to here. Um, we would prefer to not have conflict and loss of life if we can help it. So thank you. We've got some discussions of. So someone saying they have a problem that their planet is now trying to join the Tau Empire, and there's a lot of unrest and riots every day because of it. Um, I can see that. There's a lot of Grevesa that are part of the Imperium and don't want to leave it. They want to. They have that. Um, what I feel is a bit of a misplaced loyalty, because I don't see Guevesa cooperation with the greater good to be any kind of betrayal. Um, I see it as an opportunity to really uh, understand that the greater good is the best way to move forward. Okay, right, we have VGC Vatan. Uh, Welcome back to the show. I understand that you're pretty active on both the Cyrus Amani uh, and Adrian Pius shows. And yes, I do listen. I like to know what you, Guevesa, are listening to, and understand your perspectives. But BGC Vatan, go ahead and say what you're going to say. Just wanted to say to the Lamenter, you are cursed. I don't know if that's a very positive thing to say to the Space Marine. We just really want things to come out to the best outcome possible, and but it might be wise to the Lamenter who spoke earlier, if maybe you didn't wildly chase after um, the Necrons without thinking about it, because it might be just a tempting fate that your chapter has not had the best of luck, and pursuing a Necron fleet could result in a lot of let's just say negative emotions. All right. Oh, Opusa. Oh, looks like we have our Bigel calling back in. Um, Mortimer, you go ahead and put them on the line. If they want to talk, we're gonna try to see what we can do with it.
One happy little crumpin at a time. We will turn the universe into the Emperor's dream. And remember, there ain't no mistakes, just happy crumpins.
Now, well, the Emperor is an interesting case where we've heard tell that there are Guevesa that cooperate and have a what I feel is a misplaced sense of loyalty to the Bigel war boss, who, as far as I understand, has gone missing, but seems to have had quite a bit of impact. Um, but to the Miguel, I want to reiterate, let's try to focus that negative, violent tendencies. Let's look for good crumpings. There's a difference between good crumpings and bad crumpings, and really, if you could um, not crump us, we would appreciate it. So thank you. We got another call by 10 letters. So, go ahead and Mortimer, go ahead. If this one seems to be a bit more got some troubles going on, let's see what we have here. You're an alien, right? You think my Xenos loving son would stop talking to them gene stealer cult boys and rambling about tentacles if you told him to? Well, from our 10 letters from our research, what we found is that uh, people who are part of the gene stealer cults are not doing so. Maybe they are. Maybe they're being suckered into it. But I think most of it is they're falling under the influence of the hive mind. That they're being genetically manipulated and then made receptive to the commands of the hive fleets, which then manifests kind of as a loose set of populist propaganda and talking points that don't really address the needs, because you have things like the pauper princes, I believe they're called, who might talk about rising up against oppression and things, but they want to get they're genetically predisposed to now get reabsorbed into uh, the the hive mind and become biomass to be remade into creatures of war. And what I would talk to your son about is warn them about this, and if they're still on about it, it might be a thing to do to get a genome scan of your son, because if they're part of the cult, if they have been altered, then really there's not much to do about it, and you might have to humanely put the boy down. Okay, we got the greenskin calling back in. Opusa.
Gork and Mork are the greater good.
Um, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with you there, Bigel, because Gork and Mork are all about eternal conflict, are about fighting, and that might be the way to preserve Bigel and Orc life. But the rest of the galaxy can't be fighting all the time. That's not good for us. That's not that we die. That's not how we reproduce. But that's how you all reproduce. So again, there's not. We don't have any law saying you can't worship Gork or Mork. But if you are an orc warband operating with who wants to operate within the greater good, you have to direct that towards the right crumpings. Let's work on getting to the right crumpings, and not get hung up on uh, really misplacing and identifying Gork and Mork as the greater good. All right, we have our lamenter back online. I hope things are working out. Your luck has saved your station, Xenos, but be warned. We will kill everyone on your planet if your empire takes more Imperial worlds. I understand where you're coming from. I understand, Lamenter. Believe the Goethesa often call you Lord. Um, so I will. If you would address me as ethereal, I don't mind addressing you as Lord Space Marine. Uh, we don't really take planets. We really prefer to have them voluntarily accept the greater good as a philosophy, and really help to incorporate imperial worlds that honestly most of them are not running very well. That there's a lot of distress and unhappiness and inefficiency in those worlds. A lot of it's due to poor governance, and we really think that we can come in and make improvements there. So I'm hoping that in the future we're not going to butt heads about this, and we really don't have to come to blows, I suppose. We have a call from one old man skeleton. The Faerun has decided to meet with you in 2 days. Well, I think that is a really positive step. We have been having some trouble with Necrons. That there has been very hotly contested uh, planets and systems that the different dynasties really want to claim, and I think really getting on talking to a talking place is really going to be promote some pro-social attitudes towards both sides, and really help bolster the community that we might have, the spirit of cooperation, and really just start getting along and not being so grumpy at each other all the time. All right, so let's discuss some of the sticking points of points of conflict, because we now have, which is good, but this is kind of the thing I want to talk about. We have on the schedule, we now have Faerun coming to meet with Sept Ormuz, for which I'm uh, very humbled and grateful that this Faerun will come and speak with us, because I think we have some good uh, points of commonality. Because from what I understand, the Necrons um, really are not fond of the ruinous powers. They're mistrusting of the warp, and I think that's a good place of commonality with the Tau, with the greater good. Is we're if maybe we can figure out ways of utilizing and cooperating, and limiting some of the warp related problems that we've been seeing, especially as warp sensitive species have been incorporated into the greater good. We some cooperation with the Necrons, we can really start to work on improving that. Now, this might seem a little nitpicky and might seem a little ungrateful, but some of the ways that the Necrons have been dealing with the warp issue, because the thing that connects these the Guedesa and the Vespids and the Crude and the different more psychically sensitive races that are part of the Tau, is their soul. And one of the Necron solutions to um, problems with the warp and problems with the Empyrean is to get rid of the souls of psychically sensitive beings, and I think we could probably find a better way to do things. Maybe there's a way to kind of suppress some of the, or at least provide some protection from attacks from the Immaterium, instead of let's just remove everyone's souls and that kind of solves the problem, because that's not going to be a long-term problem. Because if I understand things correctly, um, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because we're still learning a lot here in the Tau Empire about the different races that are populating the galaxy. But my understanding was that the Necrons were looking to find a way to regain souls and bodies. And if you're gonna really have souls and bodies again, you're gonna have to find different ways of dealing with the Imperium. We have to look long term. We can't just try to look at these ways to satisfy ourselves um, in these short term ways. So, all right, let's see. What we've been having a couple other people talking. So, thank you once again, Old Man Skeletal, for your call. Um, Xenos, if your greater good is so great, why have a large group of kind of known as the Farsight Enclaves abandon your greater good? Um, the Farsight Enclaves. See, there's a belief that in order to be more free, uh, you need to be separate from the authority of the ethereals. And Commander Farsight, uh, I don't know why he thinks his own authority is different from the authority of the ethereals. And also he's disappeared, so um, I don't know what their plan is now. As far as I can tell, the Farsight enclaves, uh, they're not doing as well. They're smaller. They don't have as strong of a military. Their equipment is becoming outdated, and that's because they're not cooperating as part of the greater good, and that's unfortunate. And they're sort of existing beyond our reach and across the Damocles Gulf. Um, and I hope that what we're hoping is that their existence apart is going to really reveal that governance under Commander Farsight is not really different from governance under the Ethereals, who really we've really been the ones to kind of see the big picture here of and the potential of the greater good. But we have another call coming in. We have Able Knight coming back on here, and this is in response to someone by the name of Nightmare. Nightmare, yeah, Nightmare is having call issues. Uh, so I'm just going to relate his message. Let's say a planet joined the Tau Empire, and the nobles of the planet practiced taking the lifespan of others to increase their own. How would the Tau Empire react? Would they allow it? Well, I think that the practice isn't really fair to the populace of the aforementioned planet, but what I think this might take a bit more research, but I believe there are with Tau technology, uh, we should be able to find ways of increasing the lifespan of Guevesa without having to really sacrifice the lifespan of, let's say, the the lower. I suppose you would consider them lower caste. The lower caste humans don't have to give up their lifespan to the ruling caste Gevesa. So if they wanted to incorporate, it would really be again more of that cooperation and really kind of see if we can find different solutions, better solutions than what we've been using that has kind of relied on exploiting other people in order to achieve to satisfy those needs. So I'd like to try to figure out, as long as the nobles are willing to accept this change, um, we'd like to work with them and kind of make the transfer as painless as possible. And again, try to improve things for those who had been exploited for the longevity of the rulers. So we'll see. All right, we have the Lamenter calling back in. Mortimer, you can go ahead and put them on. It pains me to say this, but I will apologize to you, Lord Ethereal. We have been through so much over the millennia and have had to deal with it, even now, but we will still pursue the Necrons. I understand, but I really, Lord Space Marine, I really would like for you to, I definitely know that there are elements of the Necrons that are going to be violent no matter what. So, I believe it's the Destroyer cults and their lords. They're very very violent. You also have the flayers, the flayed ones, I believe they're called. Um, and there's not much reasoning with them. They have unfortunately been afflicted with some kind of degenerative madness, causing them to behave very, very violently, and there's not really much to do except to try to eliminate them. So I hope, Lord Space Marine, that you are in pursuit of maybe some renegade violent element of the Necrons, and not part of a dynasty that's going to view our aid uh, as an act of war against their dynasty, because that would be very unfortunate for my sept, and we'll probably need to have a lot of talking to convince the angry necrodermis clad Necrons to remit in their anger. But thank you for your call again. So I'm very curious. Do we have any? This is like, again, we're kind of focusing on the galactic needs here. What about some of your needs? Like some of the troubles that you're dealing with in this galaxy, because I think we're really kind of we're kind of dealing with a very dark galaxy with a lot of pain, and not everyone has the resources to kind of take a step back and think about their feelings and think about where they are, and really turn these stop opportunities into opportunities. That's let's turn tragedy into glagity. I don't think that's a word, but I'm working to get these kind of catchy, pretty simplistic and easy to understand phrases, so that you can you can you can kind of move on with your life, and be the best, be the greatest good that you can be. I'd get a question. Interesting. I don't know if some of you know, but there's also Commander Shadowsun, who is part of the Farsight Enclaves, and there seems to have been a some, we'll call it, fraternization between Shadowsun and one of the Lord Custodies. Now, though I'm ethereal, I have never ever met one of the Custodies. They are apparently the greatest warriors. The short of they're the greatest group of warriors that the Goivesa have, the greatest of the Imperium, who really held on to the dream of your emperor for a very long time. Now, I disagree. I think this is. I'm going to talk about where I think the Emperor of Humanity, why that mindset has kind of led to, and that way of doing things, so the way that the Imperium does things, has kind of led to the situation that we're in right now. But let's focus a little bit on this kind of uh, peace that has come between, because that's an opportunity for partnership. That's an opportunity to expand peace, and really, who can't look at this, such a relationship, and really, um, some people are saying that such a thing did not happen. It's non-canon. Well, I certainly have heard rumors of such a thing. Well, if they're only rumors, we can still use that story to help bring us together, because that's, even if something's not true, the story of it can still stand as an example of cooperation, of understanding, of really working together, and uh, working together, and I think that's really going to be the galaxy's greatest chance to unite underneath the greater good. Now, I understand the idea that the emperor had for the Imperium, and we've spoken, and I've heard at length the very fervent faith that many Gevesa have for the emperor. But I think when the emperor declared his crusade and marched out against the entire galaxy, I think what you found is that the powers of the galaxy, it all sort of rebounded back on the emperor, that his own aggression, his own dreams of conquest, ambitions, they all kind of came back on him, kind of, because then that's what you do if you put negativeness out into the galaxy. That's what you're going to get. That's what's going to come back on you. I got a question about Hive Scalius. And if I think, I think, let me see if I figure out what it is. You're talking about? Could you specify what incident of Hive Scalius you're talking about? Because I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't want to answer a question without specifically knowing which incident you're referring to, and how the greater good. Um, we've had to make some tough decisions on on that. So if you can get me back to that question, and like be specific about what the Tau Empire did and what action we took, because we're not perfect. We don't make the best decisions, but it is really more important that we continue to try to strive for the greater good, because we're not going to achieve it perfectly every time or always make the right decisions. We just sometimes have to make decisions without all of the best information. Now, this is a tough question. Taco Tuesday or Taco Friday? Under the greater good, we're very open and accepting society, and whichever tradition that your culture holds, that tacos should be, whatever day that tacos should be consumed on, then you are free to eat tacos on that day. If you wish to eat tacos on Tuesday because you like the alliteration, that is acceptable. That is a perfectly fine thing to want to do. If you want to eat tacos on Friday, because in your culture, Friday is the end of the week, it's the end of the working time, and it's a more convenient time for you to gather with friends and compatriots and consume tacos on Friday, then that is fine too. Now I've got another one saying Mexican Monday is best day for tacos. Some people might want to have Monday as, if Monday's the start of your work week, and maybe you have something to look forward to on a Monday instead of I have this long period of work that I must complete. Maybe have some tacos. Hmm? That's we accept all days can be taco days in the greater good. Though it seems that this is a topic is this a topic of religious importance? This has been very hotly debated. I actually have heard the discussions among Cyrus Amani and Adrian Pius Um, I believe Adrian Pius says it's Taco Tuesday. I don't know if Cyrus Amani has said on has said openly whether he promotes Tuesday or Friday. I thought they both said Tuesday. Well, apparently it's not a day of religion. It's just humans being humans. Well, I don't think that when someone eats tacos um, is a reason for physical conflict or violence. I don't know why tacos couldn't be consumed on different days. Um, I have not eaten tacos myself. Maybe it is. Maybe there is some truth in that. Maybe tacos or taste better on a different day, or maybe a day is more convenient for it. But uh, I I'm 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 not sure about this. This seems to be a lot of anger. Why don't we take a look at this? Where is this anger coming from? There's a lot of emotions that, and I'm worried that there might be other things that are causing maybe some anger, that are causing maybe some distress, and that this dispute between Taco Friday and Taco Tuesday is a way to kind of vent this frustration that's not really being dealt with. Is that fair, or is there some sort of deeper meaning behind this taco this taco dilemma, so to speak? This this taco conflagration. I think anger is a very valid emotion. If you're angry, you should be angry. I don't know that that's always true. Because if I tell you something that is not true, if I say um, your friend has done something wrong to you, and your friend did not do something wrong to you, and that makes you angry, you're angry because of my manipulation, not because of the truth of the matter. Now, are we discussing Angron now? Unfortunate that I'm not as familiar with all of the folk tales of I believe they're called the Primarchs, and um, the Primarchs, and I believe Angron is one of them. Um, I assume he's called Angron because he's angry. Um, I unfortunately can't really. I don't have much insight onto his state. We're this is Mortimer. Are all the Guevesa this contentious about days when different nutrients can be consumed? I must say this is a very strange cultural quirk. Oh, we have some. The tacos must be eaten on any day of one's choosing. This is the true path, and that is the endorsed way of the greater good. Uh, is that now I can understand if somebody wants to select a day for tacos to be consumed. Having every day be taco day can lessen the joy that one experiences when consuming tacos. So perhaps amongst your friends and colleagues, you might agree on a day uh, where you can consume tacos together, um, and that would provide some satisfaction and happiness. But I don't. and maybe it's the alliteration of Taco Tuesday is sufficient reason for that to be the day for tacos. Um, but I think that's another thing that needs to be communicated between the people uh, that you wish to consume tacos with, uh, and needs to be discussed. Because I think if you care enough someone about someone to consume a meal with them, figuring out a day when it is most convenient for all parties involved to eat tacos shouldn't rely on orthodoxy. Well, we're saying that tacos has resulted in 45,429 civil wars, 51,921 uprising, and 97 exterminatuses. That's um I I'm Mortimer. I'm I have to admit I'm losing this disruption over the day when which tacos can be consumed is distressing. This um I have had faith in the greater good for a long time, and this this fervent belief in when tacos can be consumed and on which days is and the sheer loss of life over the issue has um made me question if it's wise for the Guevesa to be incorporated into the greater good. And I'm sorry about that, Mortimer. I really am. But part of the greater good is being honest about our feelings. And I suppose this is me being honest about my feelings. And maybe I'm being too judgmental about people, different Guevesa, who are being honest about their convictions related to tacos. So I think we've done we have it's been going on for a while, and I think Mortimer is rubbing his temples, and we've had a lot going on here. We've spoken to a lot of different kinds of people, to Bigel and to Guevesa and to Necrons. Haven't had any Eldar call in, not yet. Um, but I think we've made uh, some good progress. I think that a lot of emotions have been stirred up, and I think it might be a good time for us to really step back and really think about our emotions, think about why we're feeling what we're feeling, thinking of the source of it, and thinking if our emotional responses to our differences is really warranted, if that's a wise thing to do. So, all right, I think we're going to wrap things up. Been going on for a little while. I just wanted to thank you all for coming and listening to really vent your frustrations, to really be honest about your feelings, and to really consider the value of the greater good, and bringing that into your life. All right. So thank you all very much. I hope this very serious problem of tacos, this sacred meal of the Gavesa, that this situation can be sorted out, and that you do not have to rely on exterminatus too often to sort these things out. So thank you all very much. Thank you for the different Space Marines, the Lamenter and Chapter Master Delner, Everyone who has donated, thank you to Old Man Skeletal and BGC Vatan. And I do apologize if I'm not. I know there's others, and I'm being a bad ethereal and not recalling everyone who has been gracious enough to donate and help support the voxcast. I thank all of you, and I wish you, whether you be Guevesa or Necron or even Bigel, who maybe my view of them has been too narrow. Maybe they can be channeled into dealing with irrevocably hostile forces. I will leave you all to discuss tacos, as they seem to be very, very important to you all. Thank you all very much, and I wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you can become the greatest good you can be. Goodbye.